Hey guys, happy Friday. Hope everybody had a great week. We did here. Up until the other day when Jackson got sick, so she's not feeling good. But, tis the season.
Tis the season. I got 3 minutes yet.
Yes. And we have a guest in tonight with us again. Little man here is hanging out with us for a bit tonight. Until he gets cranky.
Until he gets cranky.
Right?
When does he ever get uncranky?
He's always a good boy. But
as long as you keep him fed, he's good.
Yeah, he likes his food. Anybody out there that is struggling, please feel free to give us a call. We're here. Our number is 267-737-8031. If you have something that you want to talk about, please don't hesitate to call us and let us know what's going on, and we'll be happy to share our experience with you, give you our suggestions of what we have done in the past. Just waiting for a few people to pop in and get started. I'm sharing it out with the world, so bear with me while I do that. I'm trying to hold a child and use one hand to share out, so bear with me while I multitask here. And his poor little eyes are getting all red, so I'm guessing he's going to be sick next. Yeah, are you telling them all about Back to Living Day?
Yeah, Pumpkin.
Well, Pumpkin, why don't you turn it around so yeah,
How about
say
that?
here.
Put them essential oils all over me to
There you
protect
go.
me.
Say, see our poster? That's Back to Living Day, which is this Saturday. This Sunday, I'm sorry. This Sunday is Back to Living Day. And that starts from 12 to 2 p.m. There'll be trunk or treat for the kids. There'll be a cornhole tournament. There's going to be food and fun.
And fellowship.
There's also going to
Food, fun,
be
and fellowship. The 3 F's.
raffle baskets to help, raise money for a really good cause and helping people start their new life. We have face painting that will be going on. A costume contest for best child and best adult. Bet you I win. I won't even put one on.
I ain't face painting. I don't want to break out in acne.
So if you are in the area of Bensalem, Pennsylvania, it's off of Humeville Road. It's the Living Room Bensalem campus. Always a great event there. At the end, we will have some speakers speaking and sharing their stories with us, with the folks. And I can honestly say that it wasn't until Back to Living Day is where that was the first place I saw the hope in recovery.
Such a ham.
I didn't have much hope. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how the process worked. And going there and sitting there and listening to people that were in long-term recovery sharing their journey through their recovery showed me that there was hope, that it wasn't just death that came from substance use disorder. So it's just one of those times, one of those events at Living Room
better profile
that I really enjoy. And hope to, be able to, make many of them again. And hopefully we never have to close down again from COVID. But again,
that'll never happen again.
But again, it's Back to Living Day. Pappy will be there to DJ. And let's see, $5 suggested donation for entry. Living Hopeful will have a table, and I will be sitting with the Living Grin group and also promoting the family group at Living Grin. Another event that is in the making and we're kicking off. The advertisement of it is the Harvest Moon Dance, which is November 18th. It is at Georgine's. We will be dancing. There'll be dinner at Georgine's, which is an amazing restaurant. They have amazing food. Always a great time. This is our 3rd annual. And looking forward to that. Again, if you guys out there want to donate a basket, a raffle basket to help us raise some money for people that are coming out of recovery and needing to get on their feet, and provide them with the things that might be needed to help them just move through the process and to get started once they leave the facility. Great cause, great people. We always have a full house. It's always a great time, and the food's always amazing. So
They do have good food.
they do. I really enjoy their food.
It's a great place to eat too. If you look at
It don't have to be the dance. You can go for dinner. They have a comedy show
I
there.
recommend the prime rib and the scallops Georgine.
Yes. I love their food, so I'm looking forward to it. We have Christine, who was generous and donated $50 in Chick-fil-A gift cards for a basket. We have John, a friend of ours out there, that donated $100 to put towards
I
baskets.
don't think we have to. They
And
might not want that mentioned. Just mention their name. I don't know.
I just want to put it out there that we are starting to kick that off. If you are interested in helping in that anyway, please feel free to, check us out. We will be showing the baskets on Living Hopeful as they start coming in, so that you can think about raffling for. So, nothing else really going on. We do have family group this Wednesday at the Ben Salem facility off of Humeville Road. It is 7 p.m. to 8:30 with Bob Matthews.
And that'll be at the Living Grin facility in Ben Salem.
Yes.
Family group.
Yep.
Open to the public. You don't
Yes.
have anyone in treatment or anything there. It's free of charge.
Yep.
It's a great meeting. We've been over, 8 years?
Well, we were there 8 years. 8 years on October 1st. Actually, I think it's 8 years this week. October 1st is when we found out our loved one had an issue with substance use disorder and didn't know where to turn. And Living Grin was the facility that they first went to, and we got a lot of education going to the meetings, and that's where our education started, because thinking you know what addiction is and how to stop it by saying just stop apparently isn't the way to go. So at the time of the meeting, it was Dana Cohen running the meeting. I think at that point it was 4 years. I believe it was 4 years, and we've been going now for 8 years. This week, it would have started this week, Tuesday, because when this first happens, you don't know, your head's spinning, you don't know, and when you talk to the counselors there, they say we have this family support group, and I started going. I was lucky enough to have my sister in town when that occurred, and she was there with me and my aunt, and we walked in together. So I didn't go in alone. I had support, because you know, when you're in this, it's walking into these support groups that everybody tells you about, and you think, oh, you know, that's great, but I'm not going to go in there and people that I know see me and know what's going on. That's the best time to go, because then you have that support out there. And I can't say enough how important being around people going through the same situation and sharing their experiences help everybody. Eric is in the house.
Hello,
Hey, Eric.
Hello, Eric. Welcome.
You know, that's important, and just as important as it is for the family to get that support, to get that fellowship, to get that crosstalk, whatever you know program you follow, it's so important to learn how to take care of yourself during their process. And it's also very important that our loved ones, you know, continue with their program outside of treatment. You know, they always say 90 meetings in 90 days. And you have to realize that when you're in treatment, it's just a continuous, you know, wake up, go to this, go to that, go to the other thing, wake up, go to this, go to that, go to the other thing. Like, it's repetitive. And
I think Larry does 90 meetings in 30 days.
Yeah. So, you know, it's repetitive because that's what recovery is, you know, so that your mind gets used to doing the same thing all the time. You know, we get away from that when we're in our active use, and, you know, start doing things that aren't really on the up and up, let's say, where you have a group of people that can be there for you, take you through the program, and be there for you after the program, which is the most important thing, is support for both sides of anybody going through substance use.
Yeah, substance use disorder itself is a very repetitious type activity. So it's good to enforce that with a positive, repetitious act, you know, like the meetings and all. I mean, they're gonna have a whole lot of reasons why they say it works, but I gotta tell you, it works. A lot of people don't know why, but they know it works. Mm-hmm. And especially in early recovery, it's good. Like Lori said, I mean, to try to shoot for like 90 meetings in 90 days, and it's definitely a path in the right direction.
It is, and it's so needed. It's so, it's just so helpful to know that there's people out there with different stories, but the same. I know that sounds weird. Hey, Larry's in the house.
Hey, there
I
you
know
go.
that sounds weird, but it is. It's, you know, it couldn't be a different substance, but it's still the same issues going on in your lifestyle, and it's important to be there to hear those suggestions and get through that with the support that's needed. I'm just sharing this out still. The little one was in. He started the show off with us, and Daddy just took him in because he started to get to be
Fidgety.
lame.
He's fidgety.
So I hope everybody's doing well. Eric, Larry has joined us. If you are new to this, you're just, going through the YouTube channels and
you're just tuning in for the first time.
this is a family, friends, support,
An all-around
and recovery. Yes.
support program.
Yes, and we're here every Friday from 9 to 10:30. I'm getting all my times all in one mouthful there, but yeah, and you can just pop in and If you're new here and want to pop into the comments, please do. Share where you're from, share how you found us. You know, it's always nice to see where you guys are coming from. Finding out that we've had people watching all over the place is kind of really
kind
cool.
of type people tuning in from
Yeah.
the other side of the pond, even. I mean, from all
Yeah,
over, all
it
over.
is. It's pretty cool.
It is neat.
And if you have a question or concern, pop it in the comments if you are on your phone or your tablet or your laptop. You can pop that in if you are subscribed to the show. And if you're not and you want to ask questions, just give us a call on the number on the screen. Anybody out there struggling tonight, please let us know. I would be happy to share my experiences with you. Anybody have a topic that they really want us to discuss? That is also important, that we want to get out and we want to talk about the things that you feel are important and are necessary to help people with. So with that being said, anything in the news lately?
Besides Joe Biden's dogs biting everybody.
No politics.
The dogs bite, you know. In his defense, I tell you, I had a German Shepherd when I was a kid. It was the best dog in the world, but man, she was protective of the family. You put your hand over that fence, you're bringing a stump back.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, that's just the nature of German Shepherds. I mean.
It is.
They're good with their family. They don't like outsiders, man.
Nope. And they're great dogs. They're smart dogs.
Hey, they're smart. They're very protective. Want a good dog? Get a lab.
Yeah.
Love my lab.
Yeah. I did notice Larry was a little late tonight.
He's probably doing calisthenics.
Probably. That's my bet.
He found that whole load of Buster Crab T-shirts at a yard sale, and he's putting them to work.
Right.
He's getting all fit for the dance. You don't want no those slackers in the kissing booth. You know?
Yes. And I do have the
Getting
tickets. The tickets are in, so if you are joining us on November 18th, I will be at the family group meeting on Wednesday. I will have tickets in hand, so the tickets are $40 per person. And
if anybody wants to meet Larry in the flesh, he's the first one there every week at every parents group meeting, family group meeting. He's the first one in.
He's our ambassador.
He's the ambassador. So you come out there, you can meet Larry live every other Wednesday.
Oh, Larry's watching B horror movies. Yeah, they're really popping up everywhere with Halloween around the corner. I know.
I love B movies. I mean, I used to love them as a kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jackson cracks me up. She's like, "Oh, can we watch a scary movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, what? The Addams Family." Okay.
Okay. The scariest movie I've ever seen, and I'll say everybody last week, is The Exorcist. Now, here the new one is terrible. But man,
Hey,
that movie scared the living crap out of me. I don't care. You know, kids today, that's fake. You know, but I tell you, it scared me.
Yeah. It was a good movie.
You're not messing with the devil and stuff. You know.
Yeah. You don't want to mess with the devil.
That's still a scary movie. As old as it is. Mm-hmm. I would have to have Lori hold my hand.
Yeah. So we've gone through the book, the Smart Recovery book, but we have information in there we can always go over again. My big thing right now is, and I know everybody hates this word, but it is what it is, enabling. There's so many people struggling with that right now because it's summer and the change of the season. So the families that have set that boundary and said enough is enough, you either stick to our boundaries of no drinking, no drugging inside the home, or you choose to go somewhere else.
And once the seasons change, once it gets
Yeah.
cold, boy, the phone starts ringing off the hook.
Yes,
I
and
mean, the picnic is over, you know.
yeah, and here we are. We're going into that season where it's going to start getting colder, and the family's going to start. Oh, I can't let them out there in the snow. I can't let them out there in the rain. I can't let them out there in the ice. You have to do what you can live with. That's absolutely the bottom line. I will never say don't do something. Any choice you make at that time is the right choice for you. Will it be the right choice for your loved one? That we don't know. Asking them to live in the household free from substances and them doing it is pretty much not going to happen. Whether they go outside to do it and come back in, whether they're sneaking it in, it's unless they're ready for that recovery process, letting them back in will probably lead to them using inside the home.
It's a very hard decision for you to make.
It's the hardest decision you will ever
it goes
make.
against everything that's been ingrained in you your whole life of what it is to be a good parent, a good spouse, etc. I mean, it's a very big decision. It's a very important decision. But as we always say, if you're not careful, with enabling and such, you can easily love your loved one to death. And I say that almost every week because it's a very powerful statement. Mm-hmm. But
and that doesn't mean you can't love them. You
Right.
can't show them your
it's
love.
not turning your back on them or anything like that. It's just
We've given you a choice. This is the choice you're making. This is where we're at. This is where we'll be when you're ready to make that choice to get that process started. And we have to learn how to not feel guilty about that, because that will be the hardest thing you ever have to do with your loved one, knowing they are still active. You watch the news all the time and you see what's going on in these areas, in these big cities, and what's happening. And
as we all just say, the old adage was, the dated phrase was, to an escapement, like to turn your back. Tough love.
tough love.
Yeah, we don't use it anymore. The new nicey statement is to disconnect with love. We say that. It's a tough balance there.
And what is that? What does that mean? That just means you are going to allow them to live the lifestyle that they've grown accustomed to, but you are going to be there when they're ready for that recovery process.
And that's very important, that they know that you will be there when the time comes. I mean, it's their decision on when and if that time ever does arrive. But you can't make them go into treatment and do things. It's a decision that only they, can come up with,
Right.
to make it more meaningful. And when they do, it's comforting for them to know that they have a support system behind them that can help jettison them on their journey through the way, not just to think they've burned every bridge behind them and there's no hope.
Right.
Because, that in itself is enough
Hey, Kathleen.
to keep you from seeking treatment. I mean, if you think there's no hope, you give up on yourself.
You do, and
Because you think you're not hurting anyone but yourself. And we say
Right.
that all the time.
yeah,
That's part of our repetition. But it is a family disease.
yes,
No
and we're
doubt.
all affected by it.
We are.
And it's just not family; it's friends. It's anybody that has a connection with that loved one that is struggling. It's a domino effect. It hits and affects everyone, and we can only be there to give them positive affirmations, whatever, giving them positive vibes. When we are fighting in this battle, it's hard because we just want it to stop. And the problem with that is, instead of just sitting and listening to our loved one,
So true, Marge.
just stop it. Just knock it off. Do what we need to do. This is your fault. You're causing all this conflict. Like, that's just going to keep them where they want you to be. They're going to feed off of that. And they're going to put everything on you, making you seem like you're nuts. And you're seeing things that aren't there. We know they're there, but they have a way of manipulating the situation to make you look like you're nuts.
Yes.
And you
Remember,
don't
People
trust
with
them.
substance use disorders aren't stupid. They're usually very smart, very calculating,
And they have to be.
and they come up with elaborate stories to make you test your own sanity. I mean, they're very good at that. They can be very diabolical, and it's not because they hate you. It's just to help them get what they want. And they have a lot of time to dwell on these things and think about these stories and such. And sometimes they're quite amazing, the amount of work they put in to trying to make you test your own sanity, like Lori said. I mean, if said enough times, you start thinking, well, maybe it is something I'm doing. I don't know. I'm trying everything.
Right. Oh,
But
maybe
it's-
he isn't, or
It's
she
very
isn't
frustrating,
doing
and
it.
we all become very vulnerable when we feel frustrated and out of control, and it's like I said, everybody starts feeling out of control because people with substance use disorders love chaos. They love chaos, and they love to keep the whole household and everything in chaos. Because in doing so, it draws all the attention off of them. They're no longer the focus of
Yep.
it now. You know what I'm saying? So it's amazing to see it, and I see it time and time and time again. And as I always said, it's almost as though they've read from a script because the stories become so familiar and so similar. It's like,
Yeah. And Margie has mental health is real. I used to drink and numb myself. And then when I stopped drinking, I felt emotional pain. It was horrible, but I recommend therapy. Eric responds, emotional pain is definitely debilitating. And that is so true. And it's so weird because you are so debilitated. You get into that point where you don't want to get out of bed.
And that's an interesting fact because a friend of ours from an organization, I'll go on unmentioned, was posting on her thing today, and she's a trained CRS and works in the field, of addictions and all, and she's going through a similar situation with her own loved one at home, and it's just she's so depressed now, and it's draining so much. She's having a hard time dealing with it, and it's none of us are immune to it. You know what I mean?
Nope.
There's somebody that's aware of what's going on, and still, she is so depressed. And
It is.
She's starting to feel helpless with this person. I mean, this person is living in her home, and with a friend, and she can't get them out of her house. She can't, and she's at wit's end. I mean, I'm assuming there's still an active addiction because of their actions, but I don't know for a fact. Like I said, none of us are immune to it. No matter how much training you have, this and that, it's very easy to get caught up in all the ramifications that go along with addiction. I mean, even with training. So just imagine without training how vulnerable you are.
And that's why a heart surgeon can't do surgery on a loved one, because they're too connected to their loved one. They're going to make decisions.
My wife can't even squeeze a pimple on my neck. She just
No,
oh, I can't go to the doctor. Oh.
But they can't do that. They're too connected. They're going to make mistakes, and that's why they say, you can't do that with your loved one, because you're going to say, you know, this is the best, you know, way to go. And another doctor, surgeon
is
could be
this?
there
Oh.
saying, no, that's not.
Makeup.
So so we have to be careful. We have to be mindful of, you know, what we're doing and how we're doing it with our loved one. And again, you know, we can be trained all we want, but when it comes to our loved ones, that just goes out the door. You know, when you're dealing with a situation, like people come to, how do you do this? How do you do this every day? How do you, you know, talk to people? You know, I know your loved one's in a good place, but you still are there for, and like my loved one's in a good place. He's in a great place. That doesn't mean tomorrow things could change. And, you know, I'm going to share my experiences. It wasn't a one and doneer for us. It was, you know, a three and doneer. And
it wasn't our doing, that was our loved ones doing. I mean,
yeah.
that
And,
was-
you know, we were
Right.
the ones in the beginning, like, go there, they fixed you, we'll keep you, you know, not a big deal. And gosh, just going through this and learning that it has nothing to do with us. It has to do with our loved one, wanting it and keeping it.
and if anything, the education, it just allows you to realize why things are happening and make sense of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Why we always recommend you to get as educated as you can, so that this all makes sense to you, because in the beginning nothing makes sense. Nothing. It's total blur. It's like you don't know why that's happening, because as I always say, and it's not my saying as well, but like our loved ones make decisions that we'll never understand because we're looking at it with a healthy brain. Okay, an unhealthy brain with substance use disorder, a hijacked brain, it will process things differently. Mm-hmm. And that's why these things don't make sense to us, why they're doing this. Because it doesn't make sense, because, like I said, they're not thinking right. They're not thinking clearly. They have one mission and one mission only, and that's to get more of what they need.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And like they'll step over all of us to get to it. I mean, it's out of their control. It's just their brain.
Well, hello, Miss Ritter. She is in the house.
Their brain has been hijacked, and
Yep. And Margie
that's
puts
an old name. I haven't seen that in a while. Hello, Miss
and
Ritter.
Margie puts up there that getting therapy is you know, difficult these days, and it is. A lot of doctors are still doing the telehealth, so they're not, you know, meeting face to face in
Didn't know they're
person.
still doing that. Like, do proctologists do that?
No, that'd be a little difficult.
God,
You better stop in and talk.
Imagine a guy at like Facebook Central there, their face like, oh God!
You need to come in and do the show with us and talk about Ezra's Hope, because I know you guys are kicking it up a little bit. So you better you and Mom better get your butt down here and
We'll give you free advertisement,
Yes.
free airtime.
free airtime. But yeah, it is difficult today for the mental health aspect of any of it, because
And mental health is a big part of it. I mean, most people with a substance use disorder have an underlying mental health issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's very common, very
Yep.
common. I don't know the exact stats; it varies up and down, but
right.
it's a very big percentage. But most of people are what we call dual diagnosed. You know, one leads to the other, and that's why when they try to only treat one, the substance end, and they're not treating the mental health end, it's hard to make the other one work. Mm-hmm. Because you know you got to treat both things.
And I say it all the time, you know, going through the process of recovery is great. And if you were not diagnosed with any type of mental illness before using a substance, that doesn't mean that other things aren't going on. When they're out there running, and depending on how deep they're into their addiction, what they're seeing out there, what they're experiencing out there is causing such PTSD that they go through treatment, they're good for a bit, but then all that stuff that's sitting in that chest just billowing and
Some people are never even
perking.
diagnosed with it. They don't even realize why they have a substance use disorder.
Right.
Sometimes they're not diagnosed till later in life, you know. You know, when you become more serious with things, when you're young and ripping and running, you're not thinking about that stuff, you know. You get older, it's not making sense to you, and then that's when you find out the issue. Because a lot of people, the most common story that always intrigued me, people say, you know, I never felt right. Growing up, I just felt out of place. I never felt good about myself. Just never felt like I fit in. Until then one day, I picked up this or that, and it's the first time in my life I felt like I fit in. I didn't feel, you know, and the anguish or the insecure. It's just the first time, and like, boom, it's off to the races. I mean, that's a very common occurrence how, you know, a substance use disorder manifests itself in us. I've heard the story many times like that. And it's different. That's not everybody like that, but that's
Right.
That's one of the common ways.
It is it's so and
Young adolescents.
you know, before, back in the day, you could 302 somebody that is dealing with like some kind of, you know, psychosis from the drugs that they're doing, but the psychosis has gotten so extreme and so bad today that 302ing is so difficult.
And 302 is a temporary hold on someone that may be a threat to themselves or others. It's a term that's used quite frequently, sometimes too
Yeah.
frequently in recovery circles.
Right, and different states have different.
It's a 48-hour hold or
A
something?
72, I
Can't
think.
remember, yeah.
But when they go in to 302 them and then they sit down and they talk, and it's like, okay, you were not pre-diagnosed before substance use, so it's the drug. So you take care of the drug stuff, and then here's a number for, you know, a therapist, psychiatrist, whatever, for afterwards. It is so important that we check that out when your loved one comes out of treatment and they're still, you know, having a rough time. Consider just recommending a therapist.
You know, sometimes people are, oh no, I want to shrink. I mean, it's amazing how helpful it is to so many people. Just try it, and you might find out something about yourself you weren't even aware of. And,
Yeah.
It doesn't make you less of a person.
No.
It helps you to break this cycle, the cycle of addiction.
It does.
It's very tough to break, and if you don't make the efforts to try and break it, this cycle will just keep occurring. It's through your whole life.
And
until something tragic happens, or
right. And if you yourself know that it is something that is just drug related, and you didn't see all of that all the things that other people have been seeing out there, you know, just talk to a therapist. That it's so important. But if you are suffering from a mental illness, you know, the PTSD, schizophrenia, like all of those diseases where you have to have medication to control those emotions and to quiet the things that are going on in your head, and you have to make sure you're meeting with the right doctor. You want to make sure that you are taking it as directed, and they are calling you on it and making sure that you're not abusing that medication.
or underusing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like what we said, you got to take it as directed. People start making their own decisions on their dosages and all, whether it be too much or not enough. I don't need all that. I'll just take one here and there when I feel the effects. Well, that's not how it works. You got to get you got to get a baseline in your system of that chemical to get everything on the even keel. You can't just take them here and there. My grandma did that. We don't want that. She did take these little pills, her nerve pills.
They were blood pressure pills. She was calling them nerve pills.
Like, I found, what the hell did things you keep popping, Grandma?
I have to pop 3 today.
We're going food shopping. All the
pissing me
people,
off.
I go like, Graham, calm down. Like, what are you doing?
Yes, and
I'll never forget that. I'm sitting in the car like, what the hell is she keep popping these things? Mm-hmm. But people don't know though. I mean, and they start setting their own protocols and their own dosages, or they start taking too many of them,
Right.
and next thing you
and
know.
one of the most common for schizophrenia, what's the other one? Bipolar. They start taking it and they don't want to take it because they're not feeling any difference. The problem with that is it takes at least 6 weeks for that medication to get into your system. After the 6 weeks, you're still not feeling like you think you should be feeling. That's when you have to discuss with your doctor, what do I need to do now?
And sometimes they feel a little from it, like, I ain't taking it because you're not giving it a chance to equalize
Exactly.
and find
And
your ideal dosage.
Then the other issue is they're taking it. They don't particularly like the feeling that they have from it, but it's helping them. It's helping them become, sociable and living life. And they feel that, oh, I'm doing good now. I don't have to take these anymore. That is so bad. That will take you right back to that process of numbing and getting rid of what you're feeling. That's why it's so important that you find a doctor that specializes in mental illness, whether it be schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety, depression, whatever you're dealing with mentally. You have to find a doctor that specializes in that, but also has a substance background, so that they know the signs to look for when they see that maybe your medications need to be adjusted, because weight can...
Don't assume every doctor knows all the angles of every situation that might be involved with this type of treatment. Like Roy says, make sure that they do have a background and a familiarity. I can't even get that out. They're familiar with substance use disorders and all too.
Yes.
Along with the mental illness end. I mean,
because a lot of people don't think about that. Like, I just want the doctor that does this. They don't think about that, how that could react with them with their substance use. Just like going to the dentist, just like having surgery.
And be upfront on what other medications you're on also. Don't try to hide things from your doctors. I mean, some things counteract with each other, You got to be careful with like certain blood pressure medications that mix with something else, because one cancels the other one. So you got to be upfront. You got to be truthful with your doctors, what you're doing, what you're going through.
But another thing that people don't think about, because it's all natural. I can take
good point.
the oils. Oh, I can take that all natural
them herbal
vitamin.
remedies.
I can do this. I can do that. Well,
you don't want to be around me when I get to hold of that horny goat weed.
Yeah. But
I love some of them herbs. That's one of my favorite. But you got to be careful taking them herbs. Like, they're all natural, but they do have side effects and ramifications. I mean, and some of them don't mix well with medication.
Right, and can cancel it out. So
I don't feel like you don't have to bring that up to your doctor, because it's just a natural thing.
Oh, it's a vitamin. It's a vitamin. I don't have to talk to my doctor about that. Yeah, you do, because you may have to lessen the milligram or pick up a higher milligram because of the medication you're on. It could knock it off null and void, that whole process that you've been working so hard to tackle. So don't hesitate to tell them everything, even if it's a baby aspirin. It's so important that we are open and honest with our doctors, especially when we're taking medications that could really cause a problem. So, we just have to be mindful and careful of that. And
And anyone out there with the horny goatweed issue, I'm not making light of it. I'm just putting that out there.
he just likes the name.
That's the best thing
Crazy.
they could come up with.
Yeah.
Could have just been goatweed. I don't know.
I'm sure it's from the horn. I'm sure it has nothing to do
My
with
mind-
sexual.
I may be 62, but I still think like a 14-year-old. And I'll never stop. I never will.
No. No.
Just me.
Right. No, I don't know this whole thing on the mushroom and all that stuff. I myself, 12-step is my, I would push a 12-step before I would push anything else. But I'm open to any form of recovery.
And people are coming up with new convoluted concoctions and mixtures and things to try and use, which it could be dangerous.
And it can. If
There's
you're
no
not,
magic
no. If don't go,
thing.
popping the mushroom from the street dealer. You have to see a doctor. You have to be, proactive in your recovery. And just because you're taking that, whether it's medical marijuana, whether it's, any of the MAT programs out there, I'm sorry, but it's so important to have that support with you, because if you're not getting the support from people that are in recovery and you're still hanging out with the people that are giving you pot or helping you with a tab because you ran out of yours or what have you, that's not recovery. Like, that is you not taking it as directed. And it can just, and I say it because it can lead you right back into where you were. And that is the most important thing.
There's something important there too. Taking it as directed, like you're saying. We're not going to mention any names out there, but we have someone who just went through some surgery and such on some pretty intense stuff. And they're in recovery, and they were very apprehensive about taking any kind of painkiller. This person was just all intention to just toughen it out and getting through it. Well, it was so severe and so bad, morphine had to be introduced into the protocol to get you over the hump. And this person was very upset, right? And afraid of relapsing and the whole thing and all that, which it's not necessarily the case. When done correctly by a doctor and all, in a controlled type of, it can be done. Okay? But we tend to, for only the serious of cases though, I mean, I don't recommend you go getting a wisdom tooth pulled and go taking a whole bottle of Vicodin. That's probably not your best deal.
Right.
Try Tylenol. But for surgery and all like that, sometimes it can't be avoided. I mean, that's what people don't realize. Like OxyContin, oxycodone, when it was originally formulated and introduced to the market, it was for hospice patients, cancer patients, for people after a severe surgery for a few days until the body started healing itself. It was to get you over that hump of the worst of the pain. it wasn't meant to be taken for 25, 30 years. I mean, which ended up being the case.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what, like I said, oxycodone was originally designed for. It was just for battlefield injuries, for serious, horrible, horrific,
Like amputations and
accidents and all. I mean, that's what it was for. It wasn't made for like, I pulled something there and I stepped in a ditch at work there a few years ago. Hey, next thing you know, you're on oxy for 20 years and all. I mean, and I hear it all the time. Like, oh my God. Just like Percocets, it's a nickname, Workasets, were just so overly prescribed for people. I mean, just so you can make it to work. A lot of tradesmen and union guys. I mean, they're like, get hurt on the job. You get hurt all the time. I mean, when you're that kind of tough, dangerous work, it's very common, and you don't want to miss work. It's you take them things. Next thing you know, you're eating them like M&Ms. Just to get through the pain. And I always remember that painkillers don't cure the pain. They only change the brain, how the brain perceives pain. It does nothing for the pain.
Welcome,
as far
Gina.
as healing or anything. I mean, just always remember that. What it does, it just tricks your brain into how your brain recognizes pain.
And it does. And you know that the pain's there. You just don't care. That's what it really does. You just don't care. We want to welcome Gina to the show.
Hello, Gina.
I'm assuming she's here through Margie.
But she does say, hey, cuz, welcome.
So I'm assuming that
I can read between the lines.
Yeah.
Gina, it's great to have you on board.
Yes. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments.
Sure, pop them in the comments or call in on the line up there. You see on the screen, 267-737-8031.
And if you are new here and you're sitting in the background, oh, look who is here. Sue is here.
Hey. Hi, sweetie.
Just feel free to pop it in the comments, call, whatever. If you are new here, you can subscribe to the show and be able to comment. We'd love to know how you came across the show. That would be awesome.
You can call anonymously. You don't have to say who you are.
Yep.
If you have a question that's really pressing or something you need cleared up, give us a shout. And if we can't answer it, we got plenty of people sandbagging out in the background that can answer it for you. Or we'll reach out to someone and get you an answer.
And Margie points out that they're giving out Adderall in colleges to help keep them up all night, and
yeah, well, they use it as a crutch for studying and such and this and that. I mean,
and I'm telling you, like when it starts,
it's dangerous.
Right, you go there, you don't have any intentions of doing the drugs. You may plan on going out drinking with the group, but when you're in it to just be there to get your education and go, and you're struggling, you may have a job and school and a big roster, so your days are nothing but schoolwork, and everybody's going, you have to stop, you have to come out, you have to go back, you have to have some time to just let down. And
I don't know how much wisdom, Mark, but thank you for the kind words. Sue.
But and after a while, it's just take one. That way you can get through that test, you can get through that study, and you can join us at the party this weekend.
Yeah,
so you know what? They take that. Well, they'll even start with a half a pill. Okay, they like that feeling. So they go another week, and now Friday's coming around, and they know that there's a good party and there's a girl or a guy that they like, and it's like, well, if I can just cram this in, hey, can I have a half of one of those?
Try one of them. And you got to remember, different compounds affect different people differently. Where some people can take they can take that Vicodin, that Oxycontin, and be fine afterward. Some people, they take it and it's off to the races immediately. It really depends on if you have that addictive brain, that addictive gene. And some people, it's just but no fault of their own, it happens. So,
And especially in college, college is a huge, because a lot of times, you're going off to college and you're staying on campus or you have an apartment or what have
first
you.
time out on your own,
You're
or you
right.
got pressures on you, but you
Right.
never had any pressures before.
Right. And you're so open to, look at them partying and having a great time, and here I am.
And experimenting, and it's what may feel totally harmless.
Yeah.
But with these different compounds and such, I mean, it's a crapshoot. It really is. So, like, self-diagnosing and taking on prescribed medications is a very dangerous pastime.
It is.
And,
It is.
and like, and I got enough of your friends say, "Oh, it's fine, it's cool." You believe them? You'll be fine. And we all tell you, "Hey, Joe, hey, boy, oh yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be fine. Don't worry about it." They're not clinicians. They're not doctors.
No.
They might be talking from past experiences, but it's a very, very dangerous thing.
And it sucks because there's so many people out there that can just, read the chapter and, be well at it and, fly by and not have to study like others that have to stay up and they have to study and they have to, put every ounce that they have into study and to grasp it. But yes, we are husband and wife. But it is so important that we make sure.
Why? Because we finish each other's sentences. That's what happens when you're together 40 years.
Yes. So you have to really put your time in and give yourself a break, because I think the more that you're like pushing yourself to learn and to take it in, the more you're getting held back. So
Right.
taking that break so that you can just breathe a little bit and then go back to it.
I don't know. And Gina, I mean, I think totally benign things that you wouldn't even realize. Another thing that's widely abused is highly caffeinated drinks. Your Red Bulls, your Monsters, and this and that, which are also abused very much in these situations to get through these courses, this and that. But
Keeps you awake. It doesn't
then
keep
you'll get to
your
the point
brain.
you start using them more and more, and like they don't tell you the side effects like kidney stones and such. I mean, they're
Heart palpitations.
you may, especially young people who never really had a thorough checkup. You may have an underlying heart issue where, man, you get your heart rate gets up so high for these things, you end up with an issue. Like, oh my God, like, no, it's like everything within moderation. But
Yes.
some things, I mean, you should really not experiment with. Adderall and those type of things are. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
You go down. I mean, it really is. I mean,
Anything that's
try some of the
mine.
basic natural things first. Like if you get really run down, me of all people going to say it, try a little exercise. It'll pick up. It'll get the dopamine going in your brain, which is like life's like natural opioid. And it'll pick you up and this and that. And if you're just sitting there, you're at the computer studying like,
Yeah, we can
get up and
we can get so caught up in the studying that we forget what we just studied. So if you're not taking a break and grasping what you just really took in,
grab a Mountain Dew and do a couple exercises. Try the safer things first. And see if that helps you through. If you still feel like you're lagging this and that, I mean, maybe talk to a doctor. Say, tell them what's going on.
yes, you
Yes,
did.
yes, I did say exercise. Oh my God, I know Eric's probably got something to say. I gotta read that.
Yes, so you did see us in our dating days. They weren't always pretty, but we go back a long time, and I'm so glad to hear all the positive stuff that's going on with you guys. I'm ecstatic. I just love it. But yeah, give yourself a break. With that, we're always in a rush. We're always, stop and smell the roses. Seriously. There's a reason why they say that. We have to really think about what we're studying and give us a break and just absorb what we just took in.
That's a good point. And recovery has a lot of those phrases and sayings and all too that sound so corny, but they really do strike home, and they have a meaning. And that's the goal when we grow up. Like, that's not from recovery, but stop, smell the roses. I never really gave that a lot of thought, but it's true.
It is.
You got to slow down sometimes and just take in what's going on around you and just find your balance.
Yeah. And key points, I say this about recovery too, but key points in your studying, you put your cards around, little flashcards. So, the things that you're struggling with. So when you're not really studying, you're seeing this over and you're retaining it because you're relaxed and you're seeing it on the bathroom mirror, the kitchen table or whatever.
Did anybody try the yelling into a tail technique from last week?
Shut up.
Oh, gosh.
Shut up.
People were stopping their cars off front, looking over, make sure everything was all right.
Talk to anyone these days. It's nice to be able to interact with such nice people. We are nice people. We're always here. Always. Even when the show is not going on, that number you can reach out just to talk if you need to talk. Because
that's a great question. Just like any part of recovery, or if you're having an issue with someone with a substance use disorder, this isn't something you could just talk with anybody off the street or maybe even your best friend, because if they don't understand addiction, they don't understand what you're going through.
Right.
And just like your issues, you're dealing with, Gina, right there. If people don't understand that, they don't understand what you're going through.
Exactly.
Say, yeah, let's take it.
Yeah. Well, just take it could turn into a nightmare.
But it's great to be in a room full of your peers that understand you and don't judge you. I mean, that's one thing, we don't judge you here. We know exactly what everyone's going through, and which you don't get that in the outside world with an everyday person. People are very opinionated, especially when it comes to addiction. So many people think they're so well versed in all the throes of addiction, the trials and tribulations, where actually most of what they believe isn't fact based. It's just an opinion. There's really very little factual information on what when they derive their opinion of addiction and what it's all about and this and that. You'll find it's very flawed. It always is. That's why it's good to educate yourself, because it helps you understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Yes. So yeah, we're here every Friday. If we're not, if you go onto our Facebook page, Living Hopeful, or Living Hopeful Lower Bucks County, I will post it on there for whatever reason.
And even if it's snowing really hard, we could still make it here.
Yes. But
it's only about 30 yards from the house.
So just know that, and a lot of people, when I'm not on for any reason, I get texts, my phone blows up like you won't believe, and it's like, well, I posted it. I keep telling you guys, if we're not here, check the Facebook page and you'll find out why. And we haven't really missed that many shows.
Maybe two.
Yeah.
Even when my wife has a very important meeting watching the Grease Band, I still carry the torch and I'll be on alone.
Yes.
And Larry will usually bail me out and come in and join me. Or such. Or Bob.
Gina, we are recovering family group. We are not in recovery ourselves. We do not have an issue. We don't have the addictive brain, thank goodness. I have family. I grew up around addiction. He grew up around addiction. Our loved one ended up, being affected by it. And
we got very involved with the outreach, dealing with people with substance use disorder right on the front lines. I mean, down on the streets of Kensington and all, we did this for several years. And we noticed a void. We noticed a void. There's a lot of help for people with a substance use disorder. They just have to be willing to take that help. But what we did notice is that the families are being left behind, the parents, the spouses, the siblings, and they were left with no support. So a few years ago, me and Lori changed gears and started working with families. And we still work with people with substance use disorders. We still have connections. We still find people beds and such when need be. But we really found our niche in helping, other, other family members dealing with their family members' substance use disorder. I mean, helping them find the information they need to clarify a lot of things for them, because there's a lot of confusion, especially in the beginning. You don't know where to turn.
Right.
And they're just left, and their loved ones aren't sharing things they're going through with their treatment and such and all. They're usually very tight-lipped about it. So they don't know what's going on. They don't know what their rights are. They don't know what their next course of action is. Whether should I bring them home from rehab immediately? People don't even know what a recovery house is. Things like
Right.
that. I mean, that we take for granted. That so many people do not have any idea.
Yes.
That's what we do.
We were affected by this 8 years ago. Actually, we've been affected by it all of our lives, but it really hit home for us 8 years ago. And
And we both grew up in households full of addiction. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've been privy to the behaviors and the results and everything our whole lives. We've seen it. We're very fortunate that we weren't caught up in the whole thing, because we were no Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. I mean,
No.
we went out and had fun when we were younger. We did all kinds of stuff and things and fun, but we were very lucky that it didn't overtake our lives. It didn't hijack our brains.
Right.
We got married and we started a family, and we just changed our behaviors. Mm-hmm. I really did, because now all of a sudden, the first time in my life, I have responsibilities. I didn't have no responsibilities before that.
Well, we
I
did.
worked in a nightclub scene. I had a lot of fun.
Well, we
I worked
did.
in a
We just
nightclub for
chose to
years.
ignore them.
Give a shit.
We're too young.
Well, yeah,
we
all
got
of a sudden-
time. We got time.
We got married, and we planned to get married, and we planned to have our child. Our child was a planned pregnancy. Not that makes any difference, but we planned all that, and hell, it comes time in your life, you. And I always had in the back of my brain that I had the propensity for addiction, especially with alcohol. My family, but there was a lot of drugs were abused in my family. I know OxyContin was abused in my family big time. Valium was a big one back in the day.
Back then that was huge.
I mean, I was surrounded by it. I mean,
Gina, it's very important that you are out there talking to somebody, especially a therapist, to help you get through the things that you have a tough time with discussing with your family. You can't beat yourself up for what happened in the past. You have to live for what is going on in your future. And this is stuff, and I always say this is the stuff that sits here and festers. And if you're not talking to somebody and getting that off your chest and getting that out to somebody, especially a professional, it could just lead to really it just will lead to so many harsh things in your life.
you might be surprised in the truths that they divulge to you. It's very, very hard to find a family that is not directly impacted by some type of addiction. They always say you shake that family tree hard enough, you'd be surprised what falls out of it. And I can't remember the exact stats, but it's like 4 out of 7 families are directly affected by an addiction. I think it's higher than that now.
Yeah, I think it's
There might be things your family doesn't speak of. And everybody keeps to themselves about these things. And that's the way it was years ago. You didn't share this kind of stuff. I mean, especially, if you had a loved one with a problem like that, it's not something you shared. It's something you kept to yourself. You kept in the family. It's nobody's business but the family.
it's
So
right.
people
It's,
went untreated for years and years and years. And like alcohol is like one of the worst, because alcohol still kills more people each year than any other drug. People don't realize it. Just that it takes a lot longer to kill you.
Yep.
It's a slower death. I mean, it takes its toll on the organs and this and that.
And it's a legal death.
And some people don't even consider it a drug, but you go buy it in a store.
Yeah.
Well, I guess now.
And it's everywhere.
Now look at all the stuff you can buy in the store now, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I won't beat yourself up about it, Gina. I mean, that's probably something maybe you don't want to share with your family, because if they don't understand, what you're going through, what you've been through, I mean, they might not have. They may have a hard time accepting, admitting certain behaviors or things you don't know.
And that's the
that's a meeting.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is support. I can't even say that enough, because I remember going through this, and it's like, this isn't my issue. How do I fix it, and how do I go on? And it's. I would just, I'm still going to live the lifestyle that I've grown accustomed to. I'm not affected by this, and lo and behold, I'm not making these meetings my life. Like, some of these people have been going to meetings for 20 years.
You'll easily talk yourself out of that. Like, I don't need all these meetings,
Yeah, and here I am. I'm now doing a live show, trying to give back to the people that gave to me, helping those that where I was in the beginning, where I had no idea how to help, where to turn, and who.
We were blindsided. We were lost. And by the grace of God, and I make light of it now, but the first place I went to for help for our love was Living Grin, only because so many of my friends had went there, to dry out, and to do we used to call it back. Go dry out from alcohol, this and that, whether court ordered or whatever. I mean, and it was local. It's been there since the '60s. It was this little hidden gem in the woods that you never know. Don't realize how big they were, and what a large alumni they have. And it's at that point you realize how many people are directly impacted by addiction. I mean, to go there on Thanksgiving Day and see hundreds of people to show up to tell their story and stuff. It's like a pilgrimage. It's like a rite of passage. The people show up every year. I mean, and for different alumni meetings and the dances we do. I mean, we get 200 people show up there and have a great time without alcohol or drugs. I mean, and just having a blast. I mean, more fun than you see at most weddings with alcohol. There's no belligerence. There's no fights.
Right.
There's a whole world out there in recovery.
And there is. And I, I don't know what happened between that.
Right. We're just speculating your case, Gina. We don't know nothing about We're just trying to touch on all different angles. We don't know exactly what to say because we don't know what you're experiencing. And maybe down the road you'll want to share that. But our best advice to you is whatever it is that's affecting you is to find a meeting or a group that covers all the bases with what you're experiencing. Margie can lead you in the right direction. If you want to talk to Lori offline at 267-737-8031, there's a support group for just about anything that bothers you. I mean, if if it's not a substance thing, if it's a PTSD, trauma or something you're going through and all, there's a lot of support out there. I mean, there's a lot.
And nothing you can say here would blow our minds away.
Yeah, we're hard to be shocked. I mean, it's probably more something you don't want to share out in the open like it, and that's fine.
Right.
That same number, even when the show's over, I mean, that's a direct hotline right to Lori. That's only used for for problems like for this. I mean, she has our own regular phone number and all. But this number is just for helping people.
Right. And you're in IOP, you're seeing you're doing classes, and you see a therapist. And she recently told, I guess, her supervisor your situation, which she probably had to get the direction on what's the best way to help you. Yes, everything is confidential in that process, but that supervisor's also part of that process. So, and she's probably feeling you out. So you have to give it time to work. She's got to talk to the supervisor because she's got to make sure that she's going to guide you in the right direction. If you're not happy with that therapist, I highly suggest you finding a therapist outside of the IOP program. If the therapist you're seeing is in the IOP program, then I would really recommend looking for a therapist outside of that, that handles, when you're looking for a therapist and you're looking it up, or you call the back of your insurance card and you say, I need a therapist for X, Y, and Z, plus I am struggling from, addiction. So look for those, Google doctors in your area that are therapists that specialize in trauma, whatever it is that you're going
Is she
through.
dealing with her supervisor at her place of employment or something? I'm just curious.
I'm thinking it's
Because if it's
the
just a
therapists.
Okay, if the therapist, there would be confidentiality laws, HIPAA
Right.
laws involved. If
Right.
this is just a supervisor, or maybe your place of employment or something, that you have a bond with a relationship, they're not really held under them same constraints of confidentiality as a medical professional. Whereas, if you sought a professional help, they can't share that with your employer.
Right.
Nothing. I mean, if your employer would even call to ask if you're there, they would say, I can either confirm or deny
Right.
if they're being treated here or not. I mean,
Right.
I'm sorry.
And again, they can't share outside. They can't call your place of business and say, oh, she's in this facility and this is, they can't. That's a HIPAA law, and,
That's a big no-no. I mean,
Right, and you're
that's
in
a
the
very
wrong
protected
place.
law. I mean, which that law can work in both directions for you. Whether if you have a child in treatment and they don't sign you off to be made privileged to that information, they can't give you any information on whether your loved one, what kind of condition they're in, if they're alive, dead, or whatever, or if they're there or not. And that can be very frustrating because a lot of times, they went in for treatment, but you don't know if they went, AWOL and left against medical
Right.
advice, AMA.
And it's going to be the best way to heal is to share your situations. And the best way to share your situations is to find a therapist that you can talk to open and honestly with. And you may have to talk to several before you find that one person that is going to be there and help you through that. And it sucks because a lot of it is through the telehealth.
I mean, that's what she kind of talking about now.
Right, but we need to be on that waiting list, what have you.
I blurred out, not Bluetooth. I'm like, I don't know.
But it's important.
Gotcha.
It's so important for you to get that out. And I have somebody that shared some information with me that, I journaled a lot. I haven't been doing it lately, but I journaled a lot, especially in the beginning of all of this, the chaos, because I was just so jumbled. But I would write things down. I would write it down, journal it. At 3 o'clock in the morning when I couldn't sleep, I would journal it. Anything to get it out.
Yeah,
Get it off your
It's very hard at
chest.
first, like she's saying, to blurt that out. But once you do and become comfortable with it, what a weight off of your shoulders. What a relief. I mean, you'll be able to breathe again.
Right.
And
And a therapist is not going to be like, oh, you're kidding me. Like, especially if you find a therapist that this is the situation you're living in and this is the situation you need help with, they've already heard it. They've heard it a million
and they're
times.
very reassuring and really.
Because
amazing.
even in recovery, look at recovery. The hardest thing is first admitting that you have to go and get treatment, that you can't do this yourself. Look how
Sure,
hard
because
that
you feel
is.
that's like a weakness. Like I can't take care of myself. I can't do this. I have to surrender myself to somebody else to do it. I mean,
And then look at yourself.
that's common feelings.
Look
in
at
the
yourself in IOP or in a treatment center where now you have to open up to a group of people you don't know.
beginning. And they're all opening up around you, so that in and of itself
Right.
gives you a more comforting feeling that you're in the right environment. You're in a room full of your peers experiencing the same issues that aren't going to judge you on your actions.
Exactly. And that is so important. You know, we have to get comfortable being
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. That
There's
is
one
one
of
of
them
those
phrases.
slogans that, you know, we have to get comfortable of being uncomfortable.
That's recovery 101. That's probably the first hurdle you have to overcome.
Now, the therapist that I had talked to, she was like, "Oh, do you journal?" I'm like, "Yeah, I journal." She goes, "What do you do with your journals?" I said, you know, put them under my bed.
Our bed's like this. Like what the hell's wrong with this bed? It's against my journaling.
And she was like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I don't know. Maybe one day I'll go back and read them and see how far I've come from day one." And she goes, "Well, did you ever consider just taking everything that you wrote outside, setting it on fire, and letting it go? And it would be like giving it to, you know, a higher power, to God, whoever, you know, you need to, you know,
Whatever your
give it
higher
over
power may
to."
be. Don't let the God thing scare you.
Yes.
Don't.
But
No religion.
maybe try that if try journaling. Try when, you know, I know you're in school and you're, you know, bogged down with everything else, but taking that break, and when you feel that heaviness in your chest and it's really getting to you, get out a notebook,
Yeah. And,
write it down.
and I think she said she's on online courses. That's the sad part of that. Most college I think every college campus now has some type of meetings for people with different, you know, disorders and such. I mean, it's just about probably on every campus now. I mean, they don't publicize a lot, but they try
Right.
to keep it on the down low, you know. So only the people who need to know.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of colleges do offer that.
And we have 10 minutes left. Again, I'm here after the show. So if you need to talk, you know, I'm here. If tomorrow you're having a rough day, you know, just give me a call. If I do not answer the phone, I could be on another call or changing a diaper, whatever. Just leave a message.
She's not talking about me, just for you people. you
But just give me a holler, leave your name and your phone number, and I'll get back to you as soon as I'm freed up. So.
And remember meetings. I mean, like hairdressers or family doctors. You might not like the first one you attend, even if it's an online meeting. There's thousands and thousands of meetings going on 24 hours a day, whether it be online or in person. So we often recommend that you try a few meetings in search of finding one that really resonates with you, that really you feel comfortable in. You don't have to accept the first one you go to. You know, it might not be your cup of tea. I mean, your type of people, or whatever. So try another one, and I guarantee you will find one that you're comfortable at and one that resonates with you. So don't give up on the first one you go to.
No, and that's so important because I've been to Al-Anon. I'm not knocking Al-Anon. They have some good information. They have some great tools. I've been to Nar-Anon. Again, I use a lot of their tools. I use a lot of their references. Smart Recovery. I'm certified in it. I love it. It's a great program. Beyond Addiction, the craft program. Certified, love it. So much
There's
I get
so
out
many
of
different
that.
programs out there.
And
I tried Weight Watchers, did Carefoot, Chick-fil-A, I love it.
but I I didn't attend many Narna meetings because they just didn't resonate with me. I have to talk. I have to be able to share what I'm feeling at that moment and get feedback from people that have either been through it or are also going through it, and get their suggestions and get their what helped them through it. So it's so important. You get a sponsor. You don't like your sponsor, hang with them until you get another sponsor. I can't say that enough. I hear so many speakers out there, that is their main thing. Like, I stopped the program because I didn't like my sponsor. Well, you don't like it, then move on to the next one, because there is another one, and you will find that niche, that person that will help you. And if you find that person that just says, "Don't worry, it'll get better, no,
Yeah, that person's no help.
they're not helping you.
It's not going to go right on its own.
You're looking for the person that says, "Why did you do that? How did you do that? What are you going to do differently?"
Have you considered trying this or going to that?
Mm-hmm.
And even when you just go to a meeting like this, you'll find resources at that meeting. I mean, just to talk with people and just sit back and listen. You don't have to say anything the first time. You can just sit there and listen. And you'll see the go-to people, the people that know. And that's the person you can walk up to at the meeting and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
listen, can you give me some pointers on what I should try? Maybe that would be good for me."
And I don't see
Without giving them specifics, just kind
Right.
of tell them,
And I don't see Barb out there, because she will tell you that
Barista
she was blowing so much smoke up our asses that we almost
I thought I had
caught on
colon cancer.
fire.
I went and got checked.
I'm telling you. And, like, "Oh, I think I'm going to go." And like, "No, you're not. You're not going to go until you take that trip to Vegas. No, you're not. You're not going to do that because, and
Football season.
you're not getting over on me. I've heard it. I know it. I see where you're at, and I see what you're going through, and you're not ready for it." So,
And a lot of people in the show, I hate to call her out on it, but they said, fail, we don't believe it.
right. And
And they called her out on it, and you know what? It worked.
and it did, and she's
Finally
doing well. And
embraced her recovery, and
yes.
a lot of things came back into her life that walked out of her life, and
Yep.
it's just a great thing. Recovery's a great thing. You'd be shocked at how many people around you are in some type of recovery. It's just I had no idea how massive the numbers were, and how many meetings are going on all in your neighborhood, like at all times. I mean, it's just
Around the world, it's crazy.
Whether it's a substance use disorder or a traumatic experience disorder or a grief disorder, there's support groups everywhere going on all the time. It's just got to look for them a little bit, and if you just resonate with one, people will direct you to other ones. I mean, there's no reason that you have to live and endure this on your own, and sit and just rehash things over in your own head like that. It'll never get better. By doing that, it's just going to manifest itself into something even more worse, and you become more depressed and whatever from it. There's a lot of help out there, but you just have to reach out and ask for it, and it's a very big, bold step, the first step to do so. And I guarantee you, if you do, you'll feel so much better real quick. Because now you're not taking on this whole burden by yourself. You're able to actually talk to somebody that understands you. Like I said, it doesn't judge you, and it's just a breath of fresh air.
Yep. Like Eric says, finally got off the damn fence. And you do. You have to call them on it, because if you don't call them on it, they're just going to keep coming up with the same excuses, and you're going to be just going around in a circle, just like the family was. Like,
You'll just talk yourself out of it.
You will. And And I was just like,
Because the other big phrase is, nothing changes.
if nothing changes.
And that's so true. Nothing could be more true.
Yep. So, I hope if you're new here, you enjoyed what you saw. If you do,
Yeah, really, we had a lot of viewers
like,
tonight. I mean, that's great.
Yep, like, share, and subscribe so you can comment if you are not watching us on the television.
And we're just trying to get more subscribers so we get out there to more people. Let me just put it out there. We are not monetized. We don't make a dime off our viewership, nor do we care to even take that route.
No.
We're not in for that. We're out here to help people. We only want more viewers so that we can get the word out and to help more people.
I just want to help as many people as I can because so many people helped me get to where I am today. And
We're blessed that we have this facility here. It's my son's studio. He lets us in here free of charge. So
love you, Eric.
We have a very low overhead, so we're able to do this, and we just love it.
And
So this is a full music studio right here. You can't really see it. It's pretty big. I mean, you know, live rooms, recording rooms. This is the control room.
yes,
And we're very fortunate to have this at our disposal.
because when I started, it was on my phone on the kitchen table.
You know, with the cabinets in the background, with the big wooden spoon and fork on the wall.
So
I got a fine tooth. I grew up with them things.
I was blessed that my son said, "Why don't we do it out here?" And you know, I like it because you know,
Actually, this was started over 2 years ago with Sue, who's on here with her brother-in-law.
yeah,
And you know, they were out there, and then he's a good friend of the show, John.
yeah,
And there's another man who really embraces his sobriety. Well, we'll have to get him out here, get him on again. He's been on.
yeah.
He tells a great story, and I mean, I'll tell you, he took the bull by the horns, man, and ran.
Bless you.
Bless your son, and ran with it, and it's a great success story. And I mean, you know, people like him and Larry, you'll be hard pressed to find people
Yeah,
that embrace their recovery more. I mean, and they're very thankful
bless you.
for all the things it brought back into their lives. Because it's lonely. You get stuck. You know, you get stuck in.
And then you have
in your
Eric
addiction,
here
isn't
who
it?
will, you know, if
Eric got so
he
he's
will,
got
he
such
will comment
a wealth of
and
information.
help you through anything. He's awesome. He really is.
Yeah, Eric out there got a lot of information. Larry, I mean, they will chime in like immediately if you ask a pressing question. They're both in recovery and loving it.
Okay, guys, it is 10:30. My son is sick and sneezing, and this is an airtight
Hack it
room.
all over me.
So I'm getting the hell out
Yeah,
of
we
here.
are in an airtight room. As a matter of fact, soundproof, airtight. And germs, it's like an airplane cabin in here.
So everybody, we will be back here Friday. Be here 9 to 10:30. And if you have any questions, any concerns, you know, hit me up at 267-737-8031. We'll be happy to help you share our experiences.
Yeah, and welcome all you newcomers. Thank you, Gina. Great you tuned in. We hope you stick with
Yes.
us. And as always, man, like I just said earlier, remember, people, recovery works if you work it.
Yes. Peace out, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.